Welcome back to my St. Louis Live. It's 3:15 on a Monday afternoon. We could probably all use a little pick-me-up right now. If you grabbed a cup of coffee, you wouldn't think anything about it. But what if your teenage child or even younger grabbed a coffee, a soda, an energy drink? That might make you pause for a moment. It made me pause enough that I wanted to invite this guy, Dr. Chris Sumsky, on the show for today's My Mom Club. Dr. Sumsky is a WashU pediatric cardiologist at St. Louis Children's Hospital. It's good to see you, sir.
Thanks for having me. Thrilled to be here.
Thrilled to have you here so we can all learn about this together. Overall, let's talk about the effects of caffeine on a child's heart. What should we be thinking about?
So caffeine is a stimulant, and so it can cause a number of effects on the body. It can raise your blood pressure. It can raise your heart rate. It can make you feel like your heart's racing, give you palpitations. In some people, it can cause arrhythmias or abnormal heart rhythms or abnormal heartbeats. And it's also a diuretic, so you can become dehydrated if you have enough of it.
Is there a certain age where it is okay for children to take in caffeine, or what do you suggest there?
So the American Academy of Pediatrics actually has guidelines. They recommend that children 12 years and younger don't have any caffeine in their diet. And then for teenagers, they recommend that the teenagers have less than 100 milligrams of caffeine in a day.
So for those of us who aren't totally sure how many milligrams of caffeine are in anything, cup of coffee?
Cup of coffee, so a standard 8-ounce cup of coffee is about 95 milligrams of caffeine. Tea is going to have less than that depending on the type of tea that you have. Cola is going to be like 40 milligrams, 35, 40 milligrams. Mountain Dew a little bit more than that, like 50.
I'm glad you mentioned all of that because, as most adults know, not all caffeine is created equally. A cup of tea different than a cup of coffee, vastly different from an energy drink.
Right.
Are you seeing more kids turning toward energy drinks?
It's not uncommon. I don't think that all kids are drinking energy drinks by all means, but it is certainly something that we do see in clinic from time to time, especially in kiddos that are complaining about faster heart rates or coming in with concerns about feeling dizzy when they stand up. That is one of the things that can cause that.
And then we've done stories here on Channel 4 about more and more teens drinking coffee as a way to look mature. What would you say to a parent who is concerned that their child is drinking too much coffee?
Yeah, so it's a great question. And I think the things that I like to focus on, the things that I like to say is that, there's not a whole lot of great things that it does for you, particularly when we're talking about energy drinks and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of upside there. There's definitely a downside to it. You can get, jittery, you can have increases in your blood pressure, increases in your heart rate. Energy drinks in particular, it's not the only stimulant in there. And then they usually combine that with a lot of sugar. And so that can definitely have downsides to it. And then it's also habit forming. You don't often see somebody that goes, yeah, I have an energy drink once a month or so. It's usually people having a lot of them because they're habit forming. And so anytime you've got something that doesn't have a whole lot of upside, can have a significant downside and is habit forming, I think you have to be really thoughtful about that. And the fact of the matter is the habits that we start in our teenage years and young adulthood are often what we carry through the rest of our lives. And so I think it's important to be really thoughtful about the choices that you make, particularly when it comes to what you're putting in your body.
And that's why we were thoughtful enough to bring him on here. He knows what he's talking about. Thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Friends, we are always looking for new topics to explore during My Mom Club. Please email me some ideas at laura.hediger@firstalert4.com.
I don't know if that was for the parents or if it was for me.
I was thinking of you, Damon, during some of his answers.
I'm done with the energy drinks.
All due respect, Doc, but if being coherent is not an upside to coffee, then I'm out.